All right, you already know what it is. Fourth quarter Boyz Sports in the building, man. It is me, the illustrious one, Professor Lake, with a film breakdown, man, of our guy, Gervon Dexter Sr., defensive lineman out of Florida. So, why don't you hit that like button, subscribe, be a fourth quarter boy for life, man. Hit the notification icon. You're going to jump right into it. So, I'm like everybody else. I like the size of Gervon Dexter Sr., but when you look at the tape, you're still wanting more from a guy that has this many physical tools and gifts. So, thinking that Ryan Poles and Eberflus are going to be really doing a whole lot of coaching and mentoring to get this guy where he needs to be. A lot of guys say he's slow off the ball. A lot of guys say that he doesn't have a high motor. And we're going to take a look at the tape. Some of those things we'll see. I definitely question the coaching out there in Florida on that defensive front. There's a lot of talent up front, athletic talent, but are you coaching the technique? Are you coaching the rules? And it just looks like you're getting some big, fast guys out there, and you're telling them to go twist here, stunt there, and that's just not going to fly in the NFL. So definitely a guy I think the Bears are going to draft for his physical traits, and they're hoping to bring him in the building and work with him and make him into a star. Let's look at the tape just to see what everybody's talking about so we can have a educated view of our newest defensive lineman, Gervon Dexter Sr. Let's get into it. All right, here's one of the plays where a lot of people are critical on Gervon Dexter Sr.'s ball get off, his explosiveness. A lot of fans out there don't really see any explosiveness in Gervon Dexter Sr., and this is kind of what they're talking about. So I'll run the play. You'll see Gervon Dexter lined up on the inside shade of the left guard. I look at this play like a missed opportunity. I know this was a quick pass, but I just feel that if he was more aggressive in attacking his rush lane as opposed to reading what the quarterback was doing, he could have had a little bit more pressure. The ball would have been out of there anyway. But, take a look for yourself. Kind of caught that block. Needs to extend a lot more. You want to see his arms locked out. On this play, you'll see Dexter and the nose tackle work with each other in completing a twist. I think Dexter does a good job moving down the line effortlessly. I think he left enough space and room for that nose tackle to do some damage. One thing I will say is that he's supposed to be a pretty athletic and fast D lineman. And a lot of times what you'll notice is that, once you're on the Eberflus defense, man, you're going to have to hustle. And I've noticed a lot of plays where he's just jogging behind the ball carrier. He's not running full speed. And if I could see that, I know Eberflus is going to see it. Again, a lot of critics will say he's a raw player. And you'll see it. It jumps out on tape. This is a passing situation. And, you just don't really see him execute too many pass rush moves. So I'm going to take that play back real quick. And, again, I'll pause it at certain points where I kind of feel like he could have, chopped down at the guard's arms or maybe used a swim technique or something like that. But just staying locked in the bull rush, it's just not, optimum pass rushing. Lock out, execute a pass rush move. It's unacceptable. The more and more I watch this tape, the more and more I wonder who the D-line coach is out there in Florida. One of the things that I think contribute to what people are saying about Gervon Dexter Sr. as far as his ball get off and his explosiveness. I mean, look at the guy's stance. I mean, how do you expect to explode off the ball in a stance like that? I think with better coaching, I think once Eberflus and the D-line coach, he should be locking out. There's certain things that, I notice right here. Lock out. This is where you should be locking out and executing another pass rush move. And, I'm just kind of wondering what he's doing out there. Against a double team, not much movement there in regards to pass rushing, but it did take two blockers to block him. So again, here we have Gervon Dexter Sr. lined up over the right guard this time. The outside shoulder of the center, inside shoulder of the right guard. You'll see him kind of get moved around, but again, a situation where, coaching good defensive lineman techniques, you won't have this guy out here looking like this. I would venture to say he doesn't know any better, but I'll talk you through it. So at this point, I mean, look where his hands is at. You still got a lockout. The guy never locks out. Looks like the center recognizes, comes over to help. Now at this point, what do you do as a D lineman? Do you try to split the double team? Do you try to work one man to half a man, either side? What would you do? If it were me, I'm thinking I'm going to work one man to half a man and work that outside shoulder of the guard. He tries to take on two people at one time and split the double team coming out very high. And you just can't do it like that. To effectively split the double team at this point, he's very high. You need to get low. You need to get around the hip area of these linemen. And again, you got to get their hands off you. That's the only way. So it's not going to work, with the technique that Dexter is using. Oh, fumble recovery. So again, here's a play where, I'm still kind of wondering, what the D-line coach is saying as far as, where we want you lined up. I was always taught we line up right on the ball. Nothing over the line of scrimmage. But this guy's not really on the ball. Again, it looks like he has a very poor stance. I'll blow that up for you guys a little bit. And just imagine trying to get some ball get off when your stance is this piss poor. Now he gets a running start, still hasn't engaged anybody. But when he does lock out, he does get some success. And that's kind of what I think Ryan Poles sees, maybe a guy that we could shape and mold, a project that, does have some raw talent, raw athletic ability, that if we could get him to do certain things every single time the ball snaps, you might have a little something, a situational pass rusher, a guy that could defend the run a lot better. Now, there are some plays where he does pretty decent on the run game, but, there's still more to want from a guy like this being drafted in the second round. Let's take a look at this play one more time. Again, maybe he got coached up on the sideline and the coach told him, look, man, you got to lock your arms out. Get these guys off your body. And it's a blitz. Locks them out. You know what I'm saying? And now you can execute a pass rush move. Now you could go, you open the door. I think that if Eberflus and the defensive coordinator was able to look at this footage and show Gervon Dexter what he could be capable of if he executes proper technique every snap. That's what I like to see. So when you're playing on the inside, the interior of the defensive line, these are players that you're going to be expected to face day in and day out. And you don't want to end it up like this, just getting scooped out. Again, in my opinion, this has a lot to do with him being raw. coming from a basketball background, just the physicality of playing in the middle of a D line, you know, and not really being coached up. You want to spin back against this. You got to spin out of that. Trying to take you one way, you got to fight that pressure with the spin move. And had he did that, he would have been in perfect position to make a play. So this is what I think, Ryan Poles sees, a guy that could be coached up. It seems real simple, but, I think this is going to be a guy that, be a backup coming into the 2023 season. He'll definitely get a little bit of time once he starts improving on his technique. I think he could be, if he's coachable and he's able to make these improvements quickly, he could be a guy for us this year. He could be a guy for us in the pass rush game. He could be a guy for us stopping and running. I want to show you a few plays where he's able to do that. Now here you go, another situation where Gervon Dexter Sr. uses his hands. Now we'll have him on appears to be the outside shoulder of the left guard. So he's going to extend this time, locking out. That's what you want to see out your interior lineman. He gets rid of this guy and almost hip tosses this guy. I like that. And I think that, this could be something that we could repeat play after play after play with proper coaching. I'm really hoping that he takes to minicamp. He really takes to the coaching he's about to get. Because honestly, Ryan Poles must really think highly of this guy, And there's some things I see too, what I'm saying? He's just out there. He's a dog. He's a fighter. There's a couple other plays I want to show you where, he doesn't give up any ground, and this is just the raw talent, not knowing any better, that he's actually in good position to beat some of these double teams had he executed, multiple moves, multiple pass rush techniques, to disengage from these offensive linemen. You see our guy at the top of the screen extending. Someone must have told him you got to extend against these big boys. He causes a little pile up in there. So there you have it, man. Gervon Dexter Sr. Nuke. What is he going to be for the Bears? A project. I think he's going to be a backup for a little while. Mid-season, he might get a little bit more time, but I definitely think that there's a lot of room for growth with this athlete. And, time will tell, what this pick will turn out to be. So I know a lot of fans out there are mad. I called him one of the most explosive defensive tackles. Okay, you got that one. But definitely a project. And I'm glad that Ryan Poles was able to get some veteran interior talent into the building so we don't have to rely on this guy playing so much. But with that in mind, you already know what it is. It's Fourth Quarter Boyz Sports. I am your host, the illustrious one, Professor Lake, in the building, man. Fresh out the kitchen, man. Holla at your boy, man. I'm out.